Yeah, guys. Today I'm going to be showing you my reaction to the England World Cup squad for the Russia World Cup in 2018. So this year. Now the season has ended. The squad has been picked rather early from Southgate, and I'm just going to be showing you my reaction to each player being picked and what I believe the starting 11 should be for when we go into our first game in the tournament. So, firstly, you've got the goalkeepers, which there's been a lot of speculation around whether who's going to start, who's going to be picked, because there was Joe Hart was there as well. It could have been picked instead of any of these three goalkeepers. So yeah, and then Joe Hart got told a day early that he's not going to be picked alongside Wilshere, which I'll get onto that later. And I think these three are the right keepers to pick. Some people said that Joe Hart should be picked just purely because he has passion for whatever team he plays for, so he will get the rest of the team playing. But I do agree with you have to go with the keepers most on form. And even though Butland hasn't had the best season, Pickford, he's been a bit hit and miss, and well, Pope's been incredible. I think these three are the best pick for the England keepers to bring, because Joe Hart has just been terrible throughout the season, and I think his time for England has passed, even though he has been great for us when he has played. So I think the keeper I'd start with would be Pope, which is not a popular choice because he's extremely young with a lot of potential, but I think the form he's on and the way he's playing has just proved him on another level than Pickford and Butland. It's just whether he can hold his nerve for the big games. I wouldn't pick Pickford because well, I think he'd be my second choice still, but I wouldn't pick him to be starting because he can make mistakes. You've seen it against West Ham recently. He had a terrible game. Like the pressure, the last game before the World Cup squad's going to be announced, and he was crumbling under the pressure and letting 3 savable goals, especially the Arnautovic one. Yeah, she went straight at him with a lot of power, but being a top class England keeper, you should definitely be saving them. And then Butland would be my reserve one because of the form he has been in this season. I think Stoke ended up letting the most goals, if I'm correct, in the whole season, which we can't be having an England keeper getting relegated and conceding the most goals. So yeah, that's the keepers. Defenders, you've got Alexander Arnold, who's been incredible for Liverpool this season. He's extremely young, has a lot of potential, so it could be quality for us in the future. Let's see if he can have a good tournament. Got Gary Cahill, which is quite a few people have questioned because his form for Chelsea has not been brilliant, and Gareth Southgate said he was going on form, so people were unsure of whether he was going to get picked, but I think he's purely there for the experience, and I think we needed at least one player like Cahill, because in the past we've had Lampard, Gerrards, Rooney's there for experience. They know what they need to do and they get the job done, whereas you don't look at in this squad, you don't look around, everyone's quite young. You don't see many people with tons of experience, like especially like Cahill does. He has played for years, so, and for England quite a lot. But Phil Jones, which I do agree with, but I think Smalling could have been picked ahead of him. But even above them two, I think Tarkowski needed to be in the defenders for the squad. I know he's on the call-up list, but I think Tarkowski has played brilliantly for Burnley this season, and I was so surprised when I heard that he wasn't going to the World Cup, because he has been what's the word? He's just been great for Burnley this season. He's been a great replacement for Keane. We've got Maguire, which I think he should 100% start in centre backs. He's been great for Leicester this season. He was great for Hull the season before, so he shows his consistency, and he brings a bit of, he can pass from out the back, which is what Gareth Southgate likes and needed. That's why he didn't pick Smalling. So potentially, I think he'll start the first game due to how he's so composed on the ball, and above that, he's a great defender. Danny Rose hasn't really got much game time, but in my opinion, you can't really leave him out of the squad, as he is probably the best English left back. So there's no worries about him. I think he will start. John Stones, I personally don't like him too much. I think he's too unreliable. I think definitely Tarkowski or Smalling should have taken his place. Even Lewis Dunk could have done it. Brighton, he's put in the work for Brighton this season, kept them up, so he could have been another one. Kieran Trippier, easily the best crosser in the Premier League, so not surprised he's in there. Kyle Walker, no surprise he's in there. He's been dominant defender for England for years now, and he's proved it himself at City this season, helping them win the league. And then finally Ashley Young, who has proved himself at left back, not a natural left back, but he's been shown to be a new left back after being left mid, so he's in the squad. I think he won't play unless Rose gets injured or something, though. I don't think Young's going to be in the starting 11, purely because his pace is not as good as Rose's, and he's left-footed on the left for the left back. That's a bit. We need some decent crosses going into the box for Harry Kane to get to. Midfielders, got Dele Alli, Delph, Dyer, Henderson, Lingard, Loftus-Cheek and Sterling. I think there's not too many surprises in here. Apart from Delph, I think he's a bit of he's a controversial one, because I think Wilshere, I would have picked Wilshere over him any day of the week. He's been Wilshere, even though he hasn't got too much game time, I think he's possibly the best English centre mid, especially at his role of the centre mid. He works hard to get the ball back, and when he's got the ball, he's brilliant on the ball. His passing, his touch, his control is just perfect. And I think when he plays for Arsenal, they do play a lot better because of his composure on the ball. Eric Dyer, he's no doubt he was going to be in the squad. In my opinion, he's solid, there to get the ball back, pass it to someone else, maybe Jordan Henderson, who can ping a ball over the top to the wing, where Sterling, Rashford, Lingard could get to with their pace. Maybe Vardy run and get their pace, and then whip it in to Harry Kane to hopefully finish it off. So I think that's a good partnership, them two. Jesse Lingard, absolutely unreal for United this season. He's proved himself as a youngster that he should be in this squad, and I'm no surprise that he's in there. However, with the way that England are going to be playing, I don't know whether he'll start, because Gareth Southgate looks like he's going to do a 5-2-2-1, which includes 2 centre mids, 2 wide players, and 1 striker. So I think Jesse Lingard would only play cam, but saying that he could get subbed on to play on the wing if need be. So he's definitely a good player to have in the squad. Going back to Dele Alli, he's also a great cam that can also be brought on in the cam role, but I'm not sure, even though I have to agree, he's one of England's better players, I'm not sure if he's going to start due to the system that we're going to be playing. So unless we're playing him centre mid or somehow on the width, but I don't think that will work. I don't know if he's going to start. Loftus-Cheek, been incredible for Crystal Palace. Helped them this season to keep them up after their terrifying start. No surprises in there, especially after Wilshire's not in the team, and that Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain had got injured. I think if Oxlade-Chamberlain hadn't got injured, I think potentially he wouldn't be in the squad, because I see them as similar players, and due to the experience of Oxlade-Chamberlain, I think he would get picked over Loftus-Cheek. But I've still got no worries about him in the friendlies. He's been outstanding. And obviously Raheem Sterling, after his incredible season, he's probably the best midfielder in the lot, in my opinion. He's scoring a lot of goals for his club, so hopefully he'll do it for England, even though he hasn't been doing that recent form, but hopefully he'll do that. Then finally, the forwards. Kane, Rashford, Vardy and Danny Welbeck. Danny Welbeck, I was a bit surprised seeing him in the squad, but then I thought, and I was like, who else is there for our fourth striker? We don't really have too many out and out strikers. I was thinking Callum Wilson, but hasn't been the best. Still only plays for Bournemouth, which I think he could move on to get a better club, but it's whether he'll get the game time or not. So I think Danny Welbeck's probably the right choice to have as a four. I don't think he'll get much, if not any, game time, but he's still a nice player to bring and have to be subbed on. Harry Kane, obviously, going to be starting most games, I think. Maybe against Belgium, I think maybe Vardy could be playing due to, I think, because Panama and Tunisia are going to be sitting back, parking the bus, not letting us get past, and I don't think a quick team will help against that, because they'll just be running into players. And I think against Belgium they'll be playing a bit more attackive, so I'm wondering if he'll go for a completely paced team with Vardy, Rashford, Sterling, Lingard, Rose, Walker, everyone in the squad that's really quick, and we could just put long balls over the top where they can run on and get to them. But I think most likely what's going to happen is Kane is going to start near enough every game. He's likely to be the captain of the squad, although Jordan Henderson, Eric Dyer or Cahill is up there, so we never know. Marcus Rashford, I think he'll start more on the left wing. I don't think he'll be much of a striker, but I do think if Kane gets injured or Vardy gets injured, he could be the replacement for the striker position, as he has played there before. But I do think he'll start as our left wing. Jamie Vardy, also, like I was saying, is going to bring the pace to the squad. So that's my reaction to the initial starting 23-man squad. It could change due to injuries, but I think that is the starting 23 that I go through if it was me picking the squad. But yeah, so now I'm going to go on to my starting 11 that I think Gareth Southgate is going to run in the first game. So here it is. So we've got Pope in goal. I think. Well, I'm not sure if Southgate will start him, but personally I would. I think Jordan Pickford he'll probably choose Jordan Pickford, but I chose Pope just because I do think he would be the best goalkeeper for the job, especially to get his confidence up against Tunisia and Panama would be great, because he wouldn't have too much pressure coming against him. So if he could play in them games, settle into the World Cup environment, maybe get 2 clean sheets straight off the bat, his confidence for the Belgium game and further, if we can progress, which we should, would be much better, and I think he'll suit the role best. So I've gone with Alexander-Arnold right wing back, Walker, Maguire, Cahill, and then Rose on the left wing back. I think Alexander-Arnold, being a young promised fullback, he could be quality for England's squad. So I think, again, like Pope, I think you either play him in the first 2 games, get his confidence up for the rest of it. His confidence is high already at the moment, playing for Liverpool, getting them to the Champions League final. But I think with the World Cup environment, he needs to know that he's going to be picked for the squad or not. So I think playing against Panama and Tunisia could be perfect for the rest of the tournament onwards, because his confidence will be through the roof. But if you're not going to play him, I'll choose Kieran Trippier. You got, because Walker has seemed to be playing centre backs in the friendlies. I think he'll be playing there. Maguire centre back. He's just very dominant, controlling. He'll be quality, especially to learn alongside Cahill. He'll be great, and he can pass the ball out very nicely. And then Cahill on the left side of the centre backs. I think he's been playing there for Chelsea, and he's got used to the role, so I think he'll be playing there. And then Rose, I think left wing back. I think we need a left-footed, quick full-back that can whip crosses in down here towards Kane, who could hopefully finish it off. So yeah, that's the defence. The midfield, I would these Rashford and Sterling, I think, would be placed about here and here, but in the formation it's got them a bit deeper. I think Henderson and Dyer are going to be very dominant in the midfield. Alexander-Arnold and Rose are going to help the 2 centre mids when it gets into these sort of areas, and also one of either Sterling or Rashford is going to track back either side and help with the defence. But having Sterling and Rashford high on the wings will allow one of them to stay up at all times, giving Harry Kane support. So say if it's coming down on Alexander-Arnold's side, on their left wing or right side, Sterling will track back, Rashford will stay up alongside Kane, and then everyone will shuffle across and help the defender situation. Henderson, he's been a dominant force for Liverpool this season. Like, there's no doubt about it. He's been captain for England for a few games now. I think he's secured his spot into the team. Eric Dyer, I think, will be alongside him just purely and simply to get the ball back and then pass it to Henderson. I think his job, he's a player we don't really see too much. He just does the job, gives the ball to another teammate and lets them do all the hard work. But do all the magic. He's just there to do the hard work, pick up the ball and gain possession for us. And then Rashford and Sterling, with their pace, I think Henderson can release it to the wings again for them to cross it into Kane, who will be there for the header in the box. And then Kane is there for the crosses. He's proved himself the last few seasons. He's been quality, scoring a lot of goals, being top goal scorer season upon season. Apart from this season when Salah's come and stole it from him, but although he hasn't played as many games as Salah and still only got 2 goals less than him, so I'm sure he's not worried about that. But yeah, I think it could be a great World Cup for England this year. They certainly have the team to get to at least the semis, if not final, potentially even win it. In my opinion, they could get that far. It's just whether they all have the want and need to do well in the cup, which I'm sure they will. The defeat to Iceland, I think, will be in their minds. So against teams like Panama, Tunisia, I think they'll be playing at their best, even if they're not the greatest team, because they know that they can get knocked out by the lower team because of how much they want to get through to the next round. So yeah, that's my prediction for the starting 11 and my reaction to the World Cup squad. Leave comments on who you think would be the best options and who you'd put in instead of players chosen in the 23-man squad.